The Galactic Combat Arena sat in the heart of Nexus Prime Station, a massive structure that could hold 50,000 spectators from across the known galaxy. Today, every seat was filled. The annual trials of strength had begun, and species from hundreds of worlds came to watch their champions compete for honor and political power. Kate Miller stood in the preparation area, stretching her arms and rolling her shoulders. She was 32 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, with dark hair tied back in a tight bun. Her uniform bore the insignia of Earth's Diplomatic Security Corps. Around her, aliens of every shape and size prepared for the trials. Most of them were much larger than her. "Are you sure about this?" Greg asked. He was her colleague and friend, a tall man with worried eyes. "You can still withdraw, nobody would think less of you." "I would," Kate said simply. She bent down to touch her toes, feeling the familiar pull in her muscles. "Besides, someone has to show them we're not as weak as they think." Amy, the team medic, checked her portable scanner. "Your vitals look good, heart rate is steady. But Kate, these trials are brutal. Humans have never made it past the first round in 12 attempts." "Then I guess it's time to change that record," Kate replied. A massive crystalline being floated into the preparation area. This was the Arena Master. His body reflected light in rainbow patterns as he moved. When he spoke, his voice boomed through translation devices. "All competitors report to your platforms. The first trial begins in 10 minutes. Kate walked toward the main arena with Greg and Amy following. The noise hit them like a wall. Thousands of aliens cheered, chattered, and made sounds that human ears had never evolved to hear. Holographic displays showed odds for each competitor. Kate saw her name at the bottom of the list with odds of 500 to 1 against her. She stepped onto the arena floor. Around her, 60 other competitors took their positions on individual testing platforms. Each platform was a raised circle about 10 feet across, with a large metal plate in the center. The plate was designed to measure striking force. To Kate's left stood a warrior named. He was 7 feet tall with scales that looked like living armor. His species had evolved on a world where predators hunted in packs and had survived by becoming stronger than anything that hunted them. He looked down at Kate and laughed, a harsh sound that needed no translation. "A human, they sent a human," he spoke in standard galactic tongue, which Kate's translator converted to English. "This will be over before it starts." On Kate's right, a being made of living stone slowly positioned itself. The species had no visible eyes or mouth, just a roughly humanoid shape of dense mineral. When it moved, pieces of rock ground against each other with a sound like grinding boulders. His voice filled the arena. "Welcome to the trials of strength. Today, 60 species compete for the honor of their worlds. The first test is simple. Strike the durability plate with your maximum force. The top 40 scores advance to the next round." Kate watched as the first competitors stepped forward. A being with 4 arms struck the plate and registered 8,000 units on the display. The crowd cheered. A slug-like creature oozed forward and somehow generated 11,000 units. More cheers. What next? He approached his platform with confidence, raised his massive fist and brought it down with tremendous force. The impact echoed through the arena. His display showed 23,000 units. The crowd roared its approval. He flexed his arms and roared back at them. "New high score," announced. "The warrior sets the standard. Can anyone match this power?" Several more competitors went. Most scored between 5,000 and 15,000 units. A few reached 18 or 19,000. None came close to score. The warrior stood with his arms crossed, looking smug. Then it was Kate's turn. She walked to her platform slowly. The arena grew quieter. Many aliens leaned forward to watch. Some laughed. Others placed last-minute bets against her. "The human competitor, Kate Miller," announced. His tone suggested he expected this to be brief and disappointing. "Humans are known as from the dangerous planet Earth, yet they are fragile beings who struggle in galactic environments. They have never passed the first trial." Kate ignored the commentary. She stood before the durability plate and took a deep breath. She thought about Earth. She thought about growing up under gravity that most species in this arena had never experienced. Every step on Earth was work. Every movement fought against a force that pulled constantly, building muscle and bone that most aliens couldn't comprehend. She thought about her brother Danny, rejected from the Galactic Exchange Program because humans were considered too weak for space travel. She thought about every dismissive comment, every rejection, every time someone assumed humans couldn't compete. Kate set her feet. She pulled her right arm back. She focused every bit of training, every hour in the gym, every mile she had run under Earth's relentless gravity. Her muscles coiled like springs. Then she struck. The impact was immediate and shocking. The durability plate registered the force, 31,000 units. But more than that, the plate itself cracked down the middle. The crack spread outward like a spider web. The platform shuddered. The floor beneath the platform fractured, lines spreading across the arena floor in a pattern that reached 20 feet in every direction. Alarms began to sound. The arena fell completely silent. Kate stood calmly, rubbing her knuckles. They were slightly red, but otherwise fine. Floated closer to inspect the damage. His crystalline body pulsed with colors that suggested confusion and shock. "The reading must be an error," he said, but technicians were already rushing to check the equipment. "Equipment is functioning correctly," one technician reported. "The impact measured 31,000 units. The structural damage is real." Stared at Kate with his mouth open. His expression had changed from smugness to disbelief. Around the arena, thousands of aliens sat in stunned silence. Kate turned to face and the crowd. She spoke clearly, knowing her words would be translated and broadcast. "You assumed humans don't survive the first round. You never asked what happens when we do." Greg and Amy were on their feet in the observation area, mouths open in shock. Amy checked her scanner again as if not believing what she had seen. The three members of the Galactic Council stood from their special seating area. Commander of the military, High Scholar of the Archivists, and Trade Minister Al of the Mercantile Guild all stared at the cracked floor. "This changes things," Commander said quietly. Kate walked off her platform. She felt the eyes of 60 species following her every move. The mockery was gone. The laughter had stopped. In its place was something new, something that looked almost like fear. Finally found his voice. "Kate Miller of Earth has set a new record, 31,000 units. The human advances to the second round." The arena remained quiet for another moment. Then, slowly, the noise began to build. Not cheering exactly, but something else. The sound of an entire galaxy realizing it had been very, very wrong about what humans were capable of. Kate rejoined Greg and Amy. "Well," she said calmly, "I guess that got their attention." The news spread through the station faster than light. Within an hour, every news network in the galaxy was showing footage of Kate Miller striking the durability plate and cracking the arena floor. Social networks exploded with commentary. Some aliens called it impossible. Others demanded investigations into cheating. A few began to reconsider everything they thought they knew about humans. Kate sat in the medical bay while Amy ran tests. Her knuckles were bruised but not broken. Her bone density readings made Amy shake her head in amazement. "Your bones are incredibly dense," Amy said. "Much more than standard human baseline. Have you had genetic modifications?" "No modifications," Kate replied. "Just 20 years of training under full Earth gravity. My body adapted." Greg entered with a data pad. "The Galactic Council wants to interview you. They're questioning how you generated that much force. Some species are claiming humans must have violated enhancement rules." "Let them investigate," Kate said. "They won't find anything because there's nothing to find. This is just what humans can do when we train properly." 3 hours later, Kate stood before the Galactic Council in a private chamber. Commander, the military leader, studied her with new interest. His earlier dismissiveness was gone. "Your performance was unprecedented," he said. "Explain how a species rated as fragile produced such power." Kate kept her voice level. "Earth has 1G gravity. Most spacefaring species evolved in lighter gravity worlds. You developed technology and space travel in easier conditions. Humans had to become strong just to walk upright on our own planet. Every step we take is resistance training. Every movement fights against constant force." High Scholar, a tall being covered in flowing robes, checked his data displays. "Our records show previous human participants in these trials performed poorly. They struggled with basic strength tests." "Because you tested scientists and diplomats," Kate explained. "People who sit in offices and laboratories. You never tested our soldiers, our athletes, our people who train their bodies for maximum performance. You formed your opinion based on a limited sample." Trade Minister Al, a being that looked like liquid metal in a vaguely humanoid shape, spoke up. This creates complications. If humans are stronger than we calculated, many economic and military arrangements need reconsideration. That sounds like your problem, not mine, Kate said flatly. I'm here to compete in the trials, not to manage your politics. Commander actually smiled at that. It was not a friendly expression on a face. The second trial begins tomorrow. It is an endurance challenge. 6 hours of continuous physical exertion while environmental conditions deteriorate. Gravity will increase to 1.5 standard. Temperature will fluctuate. Oxygen will decrease. Most species expect this will be where humans fail. Then most species are going to be disappointed again, Kate said. The next day, 47 competitors gathered at the environmental dome. This was a massive sealed structure that could simulate almost any planetary condition. Kate stretched and prepared while Greg and Amy briefed her on what to expect. The gravity increase is going to be the biggest problem for most species here, Amy said. But for you, 1.5 G is actually close to what some Olympic training facilities use on Earth. You've worked in those conditions before. What about the temperature swings and oxygen reduction? Greg asked. Kate shrugged. Earth has mountains where oxygen is thin and deserts where temperature swings are extreme. Humans have adapted to survive in almost every environment our planet offers. This is just another environment to adapt to. His voice boomed across the dome. Competitors will complete a circuit course repeatedly. Each circuit earns points. The challenge lasts 6 hours. Environmental conditions will worsen progressively. Begin. The first hour was almost easy. Gravity was at standard. Temperature was comfortable. Oxygen was normal. Kate ran her circuits at a steady pace, not trying to dominate but simply maintaining consistent performance. She watched other competitors sprint ahead, burning energy early. And another warrior powered through circuits using pure strength. They were fast and strong, crushing obstacles and vaulting barriers. The competitor moved with steady determination, its stone body resistant to fatigue. Various other species used their unique advantages to score points quickly. By the second hour, conditions began to change. Temperature started swinging between cold and hot. Oxygen dropped slightly. Gravity increased to 1.1 standard. Some of the smaller species began to slow down. Kate maintained her pace. A small alien approached Kate during a rest period between circuits. This was from a light gravity world. Looked like a cross between a rabbit and a fox, covered in soft fur with large eyes that suggested excellent night vision. "You are Kate Miller," said in a high-pitched voice. "I wanted to warn you. The warriors plan to block your path and slow you down. They are angry about your first-round performance." "Why tell me this?" Kate asked. "Because you showed that small species can be strong too," said. "My people always finish last in these trials. Everyone mocks us. But you proved that size and appearance do not tell the whole story. I want you to succeed." Kate nodded. "Thank you for the warning. Stay close during the circuits if you can. I'll help you pace yourself for the long run." The third hour brought serious environmental pressure. Temperature swung from freezing to extreme heat every few minutes. Oxygen dropped to 18%. Gravity reached 1.2 standard. Multiple species began dropping out, unable to maintain performance. The warriors were struggling. They had 0.7 G and the increased gravity was crushing them. They were still strong, but their movements became slower and more labored. Kate, who had trained her entire life in 1G, found 1.2 G challenging but manageable. Tried to block Kate's path during a circuit, standing in front of a narrow passage. Other competitors watched to see what she would do. Kate didn't waste energy on confrontation. She simply vaulted over the barrier wall, taking an alternate route through the course. It wasn't against the rules, just creative problem-solving. The crowd watching from observation decks reacted with surprise. Several aliens checked the rules, confirming that alternative routes were permitted as long as circuits were completed fully. By the fourth hour, only 20 competitors remained active. Oxygen was at 17%. Temperature extremes were causing heat exhaustion and hypothermia in various species. Gravity was at 1.3 standard. Kate was breathing hard but still moving steadily. Was struggling badly. This light gravity physiology was not built for these conditions. Kate slowed her pace slightly, running alongside and calling out encouragement. "Keep your breathing steady," Kate said. "Don't fight the gravity, let your body adapt to it. Small steps, consistent pace." I cannot match your strength, gasped. You don't need to match it, you need to outlast it. Endurance is not about being strongest, it's about refusing to quit. The fifth hour was brutal. Gravity hit 1.5 standard. Oxygen dropped to 16%. Temperature swings became violent, from well below freezing to dangerously hot. Only 12 competitors were still moving. Collapsed during a circuit, his body finally giving up under the accumulated stress. Medical teams rushed in to extract him. Other warriors had already withdrawn, though was still going but had slowed dramatically. Various other species were barely crawling through their circuits. Kate kept moving. Her training had prepared her for this. She had run marathons in heat and cold. She had worked out in low-oxygen environments. She had trained in enhanced gravity chambers. This was hard, but hard was what humans did best. Was still moving too, encouraged by Kate's presence. The small had more determination than anyone had given them credit for. The sixth and final hour tested everyone to their limits. Kate completed more circuits than any other competitor. Her score climbed steadily. She wasn't the fastest on any single circuit, but her consistency was unmatched. While others burned out or collapsed, Kate simply kept going. When the 6 hours ended, Kate walked out of the dome. She was tired, sweating heavily, and breathing hard, but she was steady on her feet. 7 species had completed the full challenge. Kate had the highest score by a significant margin, had qualified in 7th place, having survived longer than anyone expected. Announced the results with something that almost sounded like respect. Kate Miller of Earth, 1st place. Total circuits completed, 47. Points earned, 9,400. The crowd's reaction was different this time. There was no shocked silence. Instead, there was genuine applause. Even species that had bet against Kate seemed impressed. Commander approached Kate as she exited the dome. The commander looked at her with a mix of respect and concern. How did you maintain that performance? Our warriors are trained from birth for combat and endurance. They failed where you succeeded. Kate took a drink of water before answering. You asked how I did it. The answer is simple. This was easier than my normal training. Your 1.5 G is lighter than full Earth gravity. Your temperature swings are less extreme than Earth's natural environments. Your oxygen reduction is similar to Earth's high-altitude regions. You thought you were testing me in harsh conditions. You were actually testing me in easier conditions than I'm used to. Commander stared at her. You trained in worse conditions than this on purpose. Every day, Kate said. That's what humans do. We don't wait for easy conditions. We train for the worst and adapt to anything. High Scholar was already updating his files, completely reassessing human capabilities. Trade Minister Al was making urgent calls to various economic councils. Kate found Greg and Amy in the observation area. Amy immediately checked her vitals. You're dehydrated and your core temperature is elevated, but otherwise you're fine, Amy said in amazement. Kate, you just outperformed species that were designed for extreme endurance. The galaxy would not stop talking about Kate Miller. Every news network showed replays of her performances. Social media platforms were filled with debates about human capabilities. Some species claimed the tests were flawed. Others demanded immediate diplomatic recognition for Earth. A few expressed concern about what humans might be capable of if they were this strong. Kate tried to ignore the attention. She sat in her quarters on Nexus Prime, reviewing data about the remaining competitors. 7 species had made it to the 3rd round. Besides herself, there was the 2 warriors, one an energy being, and one. Each had their own strengths and advantages. Greg knocked on her door and entered with food. You need to eat. Amy's orders. She says you burned about 6,000 calories in the endurance trial. Kate took the food gratefully. What's the news saying? Mixed reactions. Earth's government is thrilled. They're already getting applications for new trade agreements. But some species are upset. The military is divided. Half want to respect you, half see you as a threat. The collective is fascinated. They value strength of character, and apparently what you did would impress them. I just helped someone who needed it, Kate said. That's why it impressed them, Greg replied. Most competitors in these trials see everyone else as enemies. You saw as someone worth helping. Amy arrived with her medical scanner. Final check before tomorrow's trial. How are you feeling? Tired but good, Kate answered honestly. What's the 3rd round going to be? Combat simulation, Amy said. Tactical engagement against automated defenses. You'll be paired randomly with another competitor. It's designed to test both individual skill and teamwork. The next morning, Kate entered the combat arena. It was different from the endurance dome. This space was designed to look like a military fortress, with walls, barriers, automated turrets, and defense drones. The 7 remaining competitors gathered as explained the rules. You will be paired randomly into teams. Each team enters a separate simulation of the same fortress. Your objective is to breach the defenses, retrieve a data core from the center, and extract safely. You will be scored on completion time, efficiency, and team coordination. This trial tests not just strength, but strategy and cooperation. A holographic display showed the random pairings. Kate saw her name appear next to us. The small looked nervous. The 2 warriors were paired together and looked pleased. They had informed the 3rd team. They would fight alone as their species did not work well with others. Approached Kate with ears drooping. I am sorry, you will be held back by having me as your partner. My species is not known for combat ability. Kate knelt down to level. Tell me about your strengths. What can you do? Seemed surprised by the question. My species has very good eyes. We can see small details and movements that others miss. We also react quickly. On our, we had to avoid predators that were much larger than us. So you have excellent perception and fast reflexes, Kate said. That's not a weakness. That's an advantage. Here's what we'll do. You scout and identify weak points in the defenses. I'll handle direct engagement. We communicate with hand signals to stay quiet. Can you do that? His ears perked up. You truly want to work with me. You are not just being kind. I'm being strategic, Kate said. Your skills complement mine. Together, we're stronger than either of us alone. Amy pulled Kate aside before the trial began. The team is going to try to win through pure aggression. The team will be methodical. What's your approach? Speed and precision, Kate said. We go in fast, hit specific targets, and get out. Finds the weak points, I exploit them. We don't waste energy on fights we don't need. The teams entered their respective simulations. Kate faced a fortress wall with automated turrets scanning for movement. Defense drones patrolled in set patterns. Energy barriers blocked certain passages. Kate made hand signals, nodded and moved forward carefully, using natural cover to avoid detection. This excellent eyesight picked up details Kate would have missed, identified a gap in the turret coverage and signaled Kate. They moved through the gap quickly. A defense drone detected them and opened fire. Kate grabbed and rolled behind cover. The drone's weapons tracked their position. Kate picked up a piece of debris and threw it to the left. The drone's sensors locked onto the movement. Kate sprinted right and disabled the drone with a precise strike to its central processor. Your throw was a distraction, said with admiration. Your eyes found the cover that saved us, Kate replied. Keep moving. They worked their way deeper into the fortress, would identify security patterns and weak points. Kate would create diversions or neutralize threats. They developed a rhythm, moving together like they had trained as a team for years instead of minutes. Inside the fortress, they encountered more sophisticated defenses. Energy barriers required specific sequences to disable. Quick reflexes allowed the small alien to manipulate controls faster than Kate could. When heavy assault drones appeared, Kate's combat training took over. She fought with efficiency rather than power, targeting weak points and using the environment to her advantage. Meanwhile, in their separate simulation, the 2 warriors charged through the fortress with overwhelming force. They destroyed everything in their path but triggered heavy security responses. The team advanced methodically, providing solid defense while the used energy projection to disable systems from a distance. The moved alone through its simulation with alien grace, using climbing ability to bypass ground defenses entirely. Kate reached the central chamber where the data core was located. Heavy defenses guarded it. Kate was about to plan an approach when alarms suddenly intensified across all simulations. The team's aggressive tactics had triggered a cascade failure in the security system, activating maximum defense protocols in every instance. Heavy assault drones emerged from hidden compartments. Energy barriers strengthened. Turrets doubled their firing rate. The difficulty had just increased dramatically for everyone. This is bad, said, ears flat against their head. Kate assessed the situation quickly. The data core was 50 feet away across an open floor now covered by overlapping turret fire. Heavy drones were converging on their position. Can you see any control panels from here? This large eyes scanned the room. There, on the right wall, but you cannot reach it through the turret fire. You can, Kate said. You're smaller and faster, I'll draw their attention. When they focus on me, you run for that panel, disable as many systems as you can. But you will be shot, protested. I've been shot before, Kate said. I can take a few hits from training weapons. You can't. Now go when I move. Kate grabbed a metal panel from a destroyed drone and used it as a shield. She charged directly at the nearest turret, making herself the obvious target. Every defense system in the room locked onto her. Sprinted for the control panel, the small was incredibly fast, covering the distance in seconds. Tiny hands worked the controls with practiced speed. Several turrets powered down. Some drones stopped mid-flight. Kate reached the data core, took several hits to her shield and one to her shoulder, and grabbed the objective. Extraction route now. Had already identified the fastest path out. The lead while Kate covered their retreat, fighting off drones that got too close. They moved through the fortress faster on the way out, knowing the layout now. When a collapsed section blocked their planned route, Kate simply smashed through a weakened wall, creating a new exit. They emerged from the simulation and immediately saw their time posted, 11 minutes 42 seconds. Kate had taken 3 direct hits but nothing serious, was uninjured. The team finished next at 14 minutes, but both warriors were heavily damaged by the security they had triggered. The team from their simulation rather than risk serious injury from the enhanced defenses. They completed the trial but took nearly 20 minutes. Announced the results. Kate Miller in first place. Fastest completion, minimal damage taken, perfect team coordination, both advanced to the next round. The warriors approached Kate, and as they exited the simulation chamber, who had mocked Kate in the first round looked different now. He gave a formal salute, fist to chest. You fought with honor and intelligence, he said to Kate. I was wrong about humans, I was wrong about many things. He turned to, and you, small one, showed courage that many larger warriors do not have. I apologize for my earlier disrespect. His ears were straight up in surprise and pride. Commander watched the exchange from the observation deck. He turned to High Scholar. The human did not just win, she elevated her teammate and earned respect from warriors. This is leadership. High Scholar was recording everything. Humans are forcing us to redefine strength. It is not just physical power. It is adaptability, strategy, and the ability to recognize value in others. Kate found Greg and Amy waiting. Amy immediately treated the bruises on Kate's shoulder where training rounds had hit her. You protected, Greg said. You took hits that could have ended your trial to keep your partner safe. Of course I did, Kate said simply. That's what teams do. Skills got us to the objective. My job was to make sure we both got out. Earth's government sent Kate a message that morning. It was short and simple. 2 billion people were watching her compete, and she had already made humanity proud regardless of what happened next. Kate read it once, then deleted it. She did not need the pressure of billions watching. She needed to focus. 3 competitors remained. Kate Miller, the warrior who had earned his way back through exceptional performance, and Hen, a combined entity. The Enon had merged for the trials, creating a being that was part living stone and part energy. It was unprecedented and powerful. Greg sat with Kate in her quarters the night before the 4th trial. You don't have to do this. You've already proven everything that needs proving. Earth has already received preliminary approval for Security Council membership. You could withdraw with honor. Kate shook her head. My brother Danny applied to the Galactic Exchange program 3 times. They rejected him every time because humans were classified as unsuitable for extended space exposure. I'm not doing this for glory, Greg. I'm doing this so kids like Danny can have the same opportunities as everyone else. Amy entered with her medical scanner and a concerned expression. I've reviewed the parameters for the 4th trial. Kate, this is serious. You'll be alone in a hostile environment simulation for 48 hours. The simulation will target your species' specific weaknesses. For humans, that means toxins and pathogens. I've had all my vaccinations, Kate said. Not for these, Amy replied. The simulation uses alien microorganisms that human immune systems have never encountered. It also includes toxins that specifically affect human biochemistry. You could face lasting health damage even if you complete the trial. What about the other competitors? will face extreme temperature fluctuations that target temperature regulation. Hen will face seismic instability that threatens their structural cohesion. Each trial is customized to test the species' greatest vulnerability. Kate was quiet for a moment. What are my realistic chances? Amy did not sugarcoat it. Based on human physiology, I'd give you a 60% chance of completing the 48 hours. But there's a 30% chance of moderate health damage and a 10% chance of serious complications. Those are better odds than I expected, Kate said. I'll take them. The next morning, Kate entered the environmental simulation chamber. It was smaller than the endurance dome, about the size of a football field. The environment was designed to look like a dense jungle. Thick vegetation covered everything. The air was heavy with moisture and filled with visible spores. Water dripped from leaves that looked almost familiar but subtly wrong. His voice echoed through the chamber. Competitors will survive in their assigned environments for 48 hours. You have minimal equipment. The simulation will adapt to test your species' weaknesses. Medical extraction is available if you signal for help, but doing so means elimination from the trials. Begin. Kate took her first breath and immediately felt her throat irritate. The spores in the air were already affecting her. She pushed deeper into the jungle, knowing she needed to find water and shelter. The minimal equipment she carried included a knife, a basic fire starter, and a water container. Nothing else. The first few hours were about assessment. Kate identified plants that looked similar to Earth varieties. Some were probably safe. Others were definitely toxic based on their coloring and the way insects avoided them. She found a stream, but the water had an oily sheen that suggested contamination. She would need to filter it or risk serious illness. In his separate chamber was already struggling. The temperature had dropped to freezing, and his physiology was not designed for cold. He buried himself in the warmest spot he could find, conserving energy. Hen faced constant ground shifts. Their stone energy form had to constantly adapt and reform as seismic activity threatened to break them apart. Kate built a basic shelter using fallen branches and large leaves. She created a simple water filter using sand, charcoal from burned wood, and cloth from her uniform sleeve. The filtered water was not perfect, but better than drinking contaminated water directly. She took small sips, knowing dehydration was a serious risk, but so was poisoning. By hour 12, Kate was feeling the effects. Her eyes burned, her throat was raw, she had a low fever. The airborne spores were doing their job. She forced herself to keep moving to keep her blood flowing to stay alert. Sitting still would let the toxins accumulate. She tried eating a plant that resembled earth lettuce. Within an hour, she was vomiting violently. Her body rejected the alien biology. She learned that lesson the hard way. Greg and Amy watched from the observation deck with medical staff. Amy's scanner showed Kate's vital signs: elevated temperature, increased heart rate, respiratory irritation, but nothing critical yet. She's adapting, Amy said with surprise. Her immune system is responding to the foreign microorganisms faster than I expected. Will it be enough? Greg asked. I don't know. By hour 24, Kate was in bad shape. Her fever had spiked to dangerous levels. She was hallucinating slightly, seeing her brother Danny in the jungle telling her to keep going. She knew it was not real but took comfort in the vision anyway. She found another water source, this one slightly cleaner. She drank despite the risk. Had collapsed in his chamber. The temperature extremes were destroying his ability to regulate his body heat. At hour 26, he signaled for medical extraction. He was done. The warrior had fought valiantly, but his species' biology could not adapt fast enough. Hen was still holding together, but barely. The constant seismic activity was exhausting their energy reserves. They went into a state of minimal activity to conserve power. Kate pushed through hour 30, then hour 35. Her fever broke slightly. Her body was learning to fight the foreign microorganisms. Earth's endless variety of bacteria and viruses had forced human immune systems to become incredibly adaptable. Kate's body was using that adaptation now, developing responses to alien pathogens in real time. By hour 40, Kate noticed something important. The same toxic spores kept appearing in patterns. The simulation was testing her ability to adapt, not just survive. She deliberately exposed herself to small amounts of specific toxins, forcing her immune system to develop targeted responses. It was dangerous but calculated. She was treating the simulation like immune training. Amy saw what Kate was doing through the monitors. She's actually training her immune system during the trial. That's either brilliant or insane. Probably both, Greg said. Hour 45 arrived. Kate was exhausted, sick, and in pain, but she was still conscious and still moving. Her skin was covered in rashes from contact with toxic plants. She was dehydrated despite finding water, but she was alive. Hen had entered complete stasis in their chamber, using the absolute minimum energy to maintain cohesion. They would complete the 48 hours, but only by essentially shutting down all non-essential functions. Kate sat by her shelter as hour 48 approached. She watched the countdown on the small display that marked time. Her vision was blurry, her head pounded, her muscles ached from fever and exertion, but she had made it. When the timer hit 0, Kate stood up slowly. She was wobbly but on her feet. She walked out of the simulation chamber under her own power. Amy and the medical team immediately surrounded her. They guided her to a medical bed and began treatment. Intravenous fluids to combat dehydration. Medications to help her immune system finish fighting the infections. Treatments for the rashes and burns from toxic plants. "You lost 8 pounds, Amy said while working. Your body fought off 17 different types of alien microorganisms. Your immune system developed antibodies to toxins we've never seen before. Kate, how are you even conscious?" "Earth is a microbial warfare zone," Kate said weakly. "Humans evolved surrounded by millions of types of bacteria and viruses. Our immune systems are trained for adaptation. You threw alien pathogens at me. My body treated them like it treats any new infection." High Scholar was watching from the observation area. He was recording everything, completely fascinated. "The human immune system is more sophisticated than we understood. They are not fragile. They are adaptable. There is a significant difference." "Announce the results. Kate Miller and Hen have completed the 4th trial. Both advanced to the final round, fought with courage but was eliminated." Visited Kate in medical later. The warrior looked tired but respectful. "I underestimated you in the 1st round. I underestimated you in every round. You are stronger than I understood, not just physically but in spirit." "You're strong too," Kate said. "You lasted 26 hours in conditions designed to kill you. That takes courage." "The final round will be the hardest," said. "Hen is formidable. They have the strength of stone and the power of energy combined. How will you compete against that?" Kate smiled weakly. "The same way I've competed against everything else, by being human." 2 days passed. Kate recovered faster than Amy expected. Her fever broke, the rashes healed. Her immune system had not just fought off the infections, but had strengthened from the experience. She was physically weaker than before, but mentally sharper. Commander came to visit. "The Galactic Council has been in continuous session since your performance began. We are being forced to completely reassess our understanding of human capabilities. Some council members fear what humans might become if you are given equal status in galactic society." "Let them fear," Kate said. "Fear means respect. Respect means equality. That's all we want." "The final trial begins tomorrow," Commander said. "It will test everything. Strength, endurance, tactics, and character. You and Hen are evenly matched in different ways. This final round will determine which approach to strength is superior." Kate sat up in her medical bed. "It's not about which approach is superior. It's about proving that different types of strength can coexist. That's what the galaxy needs to learn." The arena was filled beyond capacity. Aliens stood in aisles because every seat was taken. Representatives from over 200 species had come to witness the final trial. This was unprecedented. The trials of strength had never captured this much attention. But then again, the trials had never had a human make it to the final round. Kate stood in the preparation area doing final stretches. Her body was still recovering from the survival trial 3 days earlier. Amy had cleared her for competition but warned her to be careful. Kate had ignored the warning. Careful was not going to win this trial. Across the preparation area stood Hen. The entity was 7 feet tall, their body a mixture of stone and flowing energy. They glowed with soft blue light from their component. When they moved, it sounded like rocks grinding together, but also like wind chimes. They were beautiful and intimidating at the same time. Hen approached Kate. When they spoke, their voice was 2 voices layered together, one deep like thunder and one high like singing. "Kate Miller of Earth, we have watched your progress with great interest. You have shown capabilities that surprise even us. We wish for honorable competition in this final trial." Kate nodded respect. "The same to you. You've earned your place here. May the best competitor win." "Or perhaps," Hen said thoughtfully, "may the trial reveal what truly defines strength. Victory is not always what we expect it to be." Before Kate could ask what that meant, his voice boomed through the preparation area. "Competitors enter the arena. The final trial begins in 10 minutes." Kate walked into the arena with Greg and Amy beside her. The noise was overwhelming. Thousands of aliens cheered, chanted, and made sounds of encouragement. Kate saw banners in the crowd. Some showed her name. Others showed Hen's designation. The galaxy was divided on who would win. Earth's diplomatic team sat in a special viewing area. The entire team had come to watch. Kate saw them and felt the weight of expectation. She was not just representing herself anymore. She was representing her entire species. Floated to the center of the arena. The final trial will test all attributes of strength. Competitors will face an obstacle course that requires physical power, endurance, tactical thinking, and moral character. The course is divided into 5 sections. Competitors may assist each other or compete directly. Victory can be achieved through dominance or cooperation. Begin when the signal sounds. Kate and Hen stood at the starting line. The arena went quiet, then a horn sounded deep and loud. The first section required pure strength. Massive stone blocks had to be moved to create a bridge across a deep pit. Kate approached the blocks and pushed with all her strength. They were incredibly heavy. She managed to move them slowly, using proper technique to maximize force. Hen used their stone component to merge partially with the blocks, understanding their structure and moving them with greater efficiency. They finished the first section faster than Kate, but not by much. Both competitors showed respect for each other's capabilities. The second section was an endurance run through varied terrain while carrying weighted packs. Kate set a steady pace, her earth-trained muscles handling the weight well. Hen moved with constant determination, their energy reserves deep but not infinite. They ran side by side for most of this section. At the end of the endurance section, both competitors discovered something unexpected. A simulated civilian-like was trapped under fallen debris. The debris was part of the course and could be ignored. Saving the civilian would cost time. Kate did not hesitate. She stopped and began lifting debris. Hen stopped as well. Together they freed the simulated civilian in half the time it would have taken alone. The crowd reacted with surprise. This was a competition. Why were they helping each other? The third section was a tactical puzzle. Competitors had to navigate through a maze while automated defenses tracked them. The maze had 2 paths. Each path required a different approach. Working separately would take much longer than working together. Kate looked at Hen. "If we split up, we'll both struggle. If we work together, we can use our different strengths." "This is a competition," Hen said, but their tone suggested they were considering the option. "Competition does not require sabotage," Kate replied. "We can compete to see who is strongest while still acknowledging that cooperation makes us both stronger." Hen was silent for a moment, then they nodded. "Your logic is sound, let us proceed together." They moved through the maze as a team. Kate's human tactical training helped identify defensive patterns. Hen's energy senses detected hidden threats. They disabled defenses together and completed the section in record time. The crowd was confused. Some cheered the cooperation. Others shouted that this was not how trials should work. The Galactic Council members looked uncertain. The fourth section tested combat capability. Automated opponents attacked both competitors simultaneously. The attacks were designed to be overwhelming for a single fighter. Kate and Hen had to choose, fight separately and likely fail, or work together and succeed. Without discussion, they moved as a unit. Kate's speed and precision complemented Hen's power and durability. When Kate was pressured, Hen provided defense. When Hen faced energy-draining attacks, Kate drew attention away. They fought like partners who had trained together for years. Commander watched from the council area. "They are teaching us something. Strength is not just individual capability. It is the ability to recognize when unity provides advantage." High Scholar recorded everything with excitement. "This is unprecedented. They are redefining the very nature of these trials." The fifth and final section appeared before them. It was a complex puzzle that required 2 individuals to solve. One person had to maintain physical pressure on multiple points while the other manipulated controls. It was literally impossible for one competitor to solve alone. Kate and Hen stood before the puzzle. They looked at each other. The implications were clear. The trials had forced them to choose, compete to failure, or cooperate to succeed. The traditional approach demands we fight to determine who is stronger, Hen said. But strength that causes mutual destruction is not true strength. Kate nodded. My people have a saying, united we stand, divided we fall. The galaxy does not need to know who is individually strongest. It needs to know that different species can work together. You propose we solve this together, Hen stated. I propose we show the galaxy what real strength looks like, Kate said. Not dominance, not conquest, cooperation. Hen's energy component glowed brighter. Your proposal has merit, let us proceed. They worked together on the puzzle. Kate held pressure points while Hen manipulated controls. Then they switched. Kate's human flexibility allowed her to reach difficult positions. Hen's strength maintained holds that would have exhausted Kate quickly. 20 minutes of intense cooperation later, the puzzle activated. A signal indicated completion. The arena fell completely silent. Nobody knew how to react. The trials had never ended this way before. Floated down to where Kate and Hen stood. The arena master's crystalline body pulsed with colors that suggested confusion and something that might have been respect. This is unprecedented, said. The trials were designed to determine individual superiority. You have chosen cooperation over competition. How shall we judge this? Kate stepped forward. She was tired, bruised, and her body ached from 4 days of brutal trials. But she stood straight and spoke clearly. You designed these trials to test strength. You wanted to see physical power, endurance, tactical ability, and moral character. We showed all of that, but we also showed something more important. We showed that true strength includes knowing when to compete and when to cooperate. She turned to address the entire arena, her voice carrying through translation systems to thousands of aliens. You called humans fragile. You said we don't survive the first round, but you never understood what survival means to us. Earth tried to kill us with gravity, with weather, with predators, with diseases. We survived not by being the strongest, but by being the most adaptable. We survived by working together, by learning from our mistakes, by refusing to give up no matter how hard things got. Kate removed her jacket. Her arms and back were covered in scars, old injuries from her military service. Burns, cuts, impacts from training and combat. She had never hidden them before, but now she displayed them deliberately. I am not just human in the sense that I represent my species. I am human because I carry every struggle, every failure, and every victory my people ever experienced. These scars are not marks of weakness. They are proof that we survived things that should have killed us. Earth made us strong not through easy conditions, but through constant challenge. She looked at Hen, then at the Galactic Council. You asked what happens when humans survive the first round. Here is your answer. We don't just survive. We adapt. We cooperate. We prove that strength is not about dominating others. It is about lifting others while standing firm yourself. The arena remained silent. Then one alien began to clap. Then another. Then dozens. Then thousands. The sound built like a wave washing over the arena. Species that had mocked Kate in the first round were now showing respect. Warriors who had dismissed humans as weak were now standing in appreciation. Commander stood from the council area. The Galactic Council must deliberate on the outcome of this unprecedented trial. We will announce our decision shortly. Kate and Hen left the arena together. Greg and Amy rushed to Kate, checking her condition and offering congratulations. Was there, too, the small bouncing with excitement. You showed them, said. You showed everyone that strength is not just power. You showed that cooperation is its own kind of strength. An hour later, the Galactic Council called Kate and Hen back to the arena. The competitors stood together while made the announcement. The Galactic Council has reached a decision. The trials have always been about determining individual superiority, but Kate Miller and Hen have shown us that our understanding of strength was incomplete. Therefore, we declare both competitors to be champions of this year's Trials of Strength. Both have proven worthy. The crowd erupted in cheers. Kate felt relief wash over her. She had done it, not just for herself, but for humanity. Commander stepped forward. Furthermore, the Galactic Council officially approves Earth's application for Security Council membership. Humanity has proven it deserves a voice in galactic affairs. Kate Miller, your species no longer needs to prove its worth. You have earned respect through action. Kate felt emotion rising but kept it controlled. Thank you, but I did not do this alone. Every human who came before me, who faced rejection and kept trying, who refused to accept that we were too weak or too fragile, they all contributed to this moment. High Scholar approached with data displays. Kate Miller, your performance in these trials has forced us to completely reassess human capabilities. We request permission to study Earth more thoroughly. We have much to learn from your species. You're welcome to visit, Kate said. But be warned, Earth is not an easy planet. It will challenge you in ways you're not used to. That is precisely what makes it valuable, replied. The celebrations continued. Kate found a quiet moment with Greg and Amy. She sat down heavily, finally allowing exhaustion to show. We did it, she said quietly. You did it, Greg corrected. You showed them what humans can do. No, Kate said. Humans have always been capable of this. I just made them look. Days later, Kate stood on an observation deck looking at Earth the planet rotated slowly, blue and green and beautiful. She had cracked the arena floor to get the galaxy's attention. She had proven humans could endure and adapt. But most importantly, she had proven that strength was about more than power. Found her there. The arena floor will not be repaired. We are leaving the crack as a permanent reminder. Never underestimate any species based on appearance or assumption. Kate smiled. Good. Let it remind everyone that the first round is just the beginning. What comes after defines real strength. She touched the window, feeling the cool surface. Somewhere down on that planet, her brother Danny was probably watching news coverage and celebrating. Other humans were seeing new opportunities open. Children were dreaming of traveling the stars. Humans don't survive the first round, Kate said softly. We define what comes after it. She had proven humanity belonged among the stars, not through dominance, not through conquest, but through resilience, adaptability, and the understanding that cooperation was the ultimate strength. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. And humans would never see themselves as outsiders again. They had earned their place, and Kate Miller had shown them how. Greg and Amy helped Kate prepare for the final trial. Her body was still recovering, but she insisted she was ready. Amy ran final tests and reluctantly cleared her for competition. You've proven everything you needed to prove, Greg said. Nobody would blame you for withdrawing now. I would, Kate said simply. The trials aren't finished, neither am I. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. She had lost weight. She was covered in fatting scars from toxic exposure. She was exhausted to her bones, but her eyes were clear and determined. One more round, she said to herself. Show them what humans are really made of. The galaxy was watching, and Kate Miller was ready to finish what she started. Amy finished her treatment. 2 rounds left. The galaxy is watching closer than ever. Whatever comes next will be even harder. Kate looked at who was being celebrated by others who had come to watch. The small alien was glowing with pride. Kate smiled. Hard is fine, she said. Hard is what humans do best, and apparently we do it better when we help others along the way. The trials continued, and Kate Miller kept showing the galaxy what humans were really made of. Humans were designed by Earth, Kate said, and Earth doesn't design anything weak. The trials continued, and the galaxy was beginning to understand that humans were not the fragile species they had believed. Kate, Amy said, still staring at her scanner, that shouldn't be possible. Your bone structure, your muscle density, how did you generate that much force? Earth is a 1G planet, Kate said. Most species here evolved in 0.6 to 0.8 gravity. They've never had to fight against the kind of force we live with every single day. They thought we were weak because we struggle with their diseases and their environments. They never tested our strength properly. Greg looked at the cracked floor. They're going to want answers. Let them want, Kate said. The trials continue, and I'm just getting started.